Welcome to Ken's Corner Podcast, Season 4.
Hi, everyone. It's Ken from Ken's Corner, and this is our second last week before our break for the Christmas. All right, guys, so we got lots to cover. I'm going to do a roundabout of everyone that's here with us today. Let's welcome JT from Thunder Bay. George,
How are we?
finally got some snow all the way up
Yeah,
to
finally.
Calgary. And Gord,
I've
from the
had
heart of
I've had
downtown
lots.
Toronto. What'd you say?
How you doing, guys?
George?
Oh, I said I've had lots. JT finally got some snow.
Yeah. I finally had to shovel.
Yeah. Okay, first up. So I am wearing strategically a number 34 t-shirt today. All right, boys, let's talk about Auston Matthews and his big trip to Germany to get whatever the hell he was doing over there from a doctor. Apparently he's dealt with when he was in Switzerland. News is he's coming back Wednesday night. So this episode, I guess, will be released right before that. Let's have our feelings on first how the Leafs have played in this stretch without him, and who's your MVP during that stretch? We'll start with you, JT.
That stretch, I'm going to give it to either Woll or Stolarz. Both of them are carrying best save percentage right now as a tandem in the NHL, with notably also the lowest cap hit for a tandem in the NHL. That's something to note. But I could give the MVP to either one of those two. And then Willie and Mitch. I'm sorry, they have come in clutch for us, and that's my go.
Okay, and your thoughts on Auston Matthews' potential return against the Florida Panthers?
Bring it. That's just more depth. Like, I don't even know what to say about this team, honestly. I think we're in a beautiful position, somewhere we haven't been in a lot of years, and we've got it all now. We've got the defense, we've got the forecheck, we've got the goalies, we've got the
paycheck,
the style, and the paycheck.
Yeah,
paycheck,
we'll get to that later. Thank you,
JT.
George, I'm going to ask you the exact same question, and Gord, we'll start with George. Your thoughts on your MVP over this 7-1 stretch, and are you surprised that we actually went on this stretch? And what's your thoughts on Auston Matthews returning?
I mean, we've done this before. When I think it was last year, Auston Matthews was out, and we stepped up when he was gone. I think my MVP would be I'm going to go with Nylander and Marner. I mean, Nylander's been putting it in the net for us. And yeah, our goalies are. Thank God our goalies are there now. We got goalies, and Auston Matthews. I hope he's back for Florida, if we could use them. And let's put Florida. Let's take it to Florida.
Yeah, we're sitting 3 points ahead of Florida as we speak, unless Florida Panthers play tonight and win. But coming into this game, we could potentially go up 5 points on the Panthers. Now, wouldn't that be something? This is the first time, guys, officially since 2021 that the Leafs have actually sat in first in their conference. I mean, in their division since 2021. So it's exciting. This is late in the season. Gord, your question. I'm just going to pair it the exact same thing. Who's your MVP? Your thoughts on Auston Matthews' return?
Well, that's easy. Auston Matthews returning. Bring him on. I think him coming back against Florida shows that we've got massive depth on this team. MVP. Wow. That could be a long list. Short list. JT, Marner, Nylander. I think you really got to give it to the defense. Playing in front of Stolarz and Woll, you really got to give it to guys Tanev, Benoit, Riley, guys OEL. I think you got to look at that overall. These guys are playing phenomenal in front of these goalies, getting rid of the pucks out in front of them before they're having a chance for anybody to pounce on them. That's my opinion.
Well, you're exactly right with the defense. Gord, we sit second in the division in the league as far as block shots. So you're bang on in that assessment of our defensemen. For me, I would have to go if I'm going to give it to one only guy. Has to be Mitch Marner and his 14 points for me. Marner's been Mr. Everything. And you know what? Next question is Mitch Marner. Let's talk about Mitch Marner real quick here, guys. Now, we're going to start with you, George. The first question here is Mitch Marner. Do you think Mitch Marner is a seasonal player? And everyone else can weigh in on this as well. And does he disappear in the playoffs?
I've always been a Marner fan, and I've always backed him up, even when they were trying to throw him under the bus. But as a seasonal player, no, I don't think so. I mean, there's stuff happened the last playoffs, but you know what? I think it'll be turned around this year, and he won't be such a person that they down on.
Thank you very much. JT, I'm going to ask you the same question about Mitch Marner.
I think Mitch Marner plays to the rest of the team. The rest of the team kind of didn't have a heavy style of play for the last few years, except for last year. Last year we came out and we actually had a little more physicality. Mitch is not that style of player, but he's actually even showing that this year already in regular season. He's a different dynamic to his game that he's played. A lot of people don't remember also last year. He's a solid East-West player, always has been. And he came out with a high ankle sprain, came back in, I think, a bit too early into those playoffs. And he lost the ability to cut those edges like he normally does. And it took away his game. So there's a lot of naysayers out there, but I think Mitch has the capability to do everything. Playoffs or not playoffs, he's a monster on the ice.
Do we sign him before the end of the season, or do we wait and possibly lose him?
I don't think we will lose him. Personally, I think he wants to be here as long as we're going to pay him. And I think you let him play the playoffs, and then that justifies the salary not just to him, but to all the naysayers out there. You know, because they will go deep this year, and he will be able to prove himself. And then when they stick him with an $11 million contract or something, people won't say, well, hey, you know, he doesn't perform in the playoffs. So he'll give his ability to prove that, and we'll be able to pay him accordingly.
Yeah. And Gord, your thoughts on Mitch Marner?
Well, I don't say this often, but I'm going to agree with Cheryl Pounder. I think they're going to take this into the playoffs, see how he does. And if he's playing really well in the playoffs, just before it's time for him to step away, I think they're going to offer him the contract. I think it's going to come down to how they play in the playoffs this year. They play like they are right now with the depth they've got overall. I think for sure. I don't think we'll lose him. He's part of the heart and soul of the core four. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think they're going to lock him up just like they did Auston Matthews, honestly.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. The reason I asked all you guys this question, I'm going to read you Mitch Marner's stats in the playoffs. Here's some of Marner's playoff facts for you. First in points since 2016 and 2017. He's got 50 points in 57 playoff games, guys. He's second in takeaways on the team. He's second in plus minus. He's third in game winners and sixth in block shots. Now, please tell me again that Mitch Marner does not show up in the playoffs. For all the naysayers out there, that's my answer to that. Thanks, guys, for helping me prove a point there. Now, let's talk about the Leafs goaltending. Wow. Are we rocking it, guys? Just like everyone right here has said many a times. Anthony Stolarz is still clearly, to me, our number one goalie. But Joseph Woll's given him a run for his money. They are now second in all the league. And no, actually, I'm sorry, they moved up. They are number one in save percentage in the whole NHL. How does that make you feel, George?
Awesome. Makes me feel great. I mean, we've had some terrible times with goalies, and like I said, Stolars was my number one, and Wolves, he's making a fight back for it, and he's stepping in there. So I'm happy. I'm happy as hell.
JT, well, let's do a little bit of a scouting report. There is a goalie that the Leafs had drafted in the 4th round in 2021 who seems to be killing it down for the Marlies, Arturs Urbe. That was a wrong name. Let's say it again. You say it for me, for his name, please.
Who's?
The new goalie in the Marlies.
I can't remember I can't even pronounce his name. It's Arturs.
Arturbe. Arturbe, that's it. Okay.
Arturbe.
You know what? I'm famous for being crappy at names. One day I'll get good at it, I'm sure.
But I can't remember anyone's name.
His stats are really are what I am good at. And in 7 games, guys, he's got 2 shutouts and 6 wins. Has he placed himself ahead of Hildeby and Matt Murray on the depth charts? JT?
Hildeby's still a monster. He is what he is. I mean, if this kid can keep up doing what he's doing, absolutely. I think he unseeds Hildeby. But he's already taken the starting job there, right? I mean, he's their guy right now as it is. So that only tells you where he is moving forward. Some people bloom late. He was a fourth rounder. Goalies always go late anyway, but he was probably 8 deep, I believe. If you look at it, I think he was 8 deep on the depth chart for goaltending for that year in draft. Mm-hmm. And it's just funny because I did read up on the kid, and I just can't remember his name. Anyway,
Arturbier I actually just listened to it on a podcast before. I kind of froze on his name there. I had it before. I said it before we actually started recording. But yeah, we're looking really good in our future for goaltending, because who knows where Stolar and Joseph will go in the next 2 years. That is possibly our next 2 guys, next 2 up. So I'm really happy with that. Gord, let's talk about these new rookies. And who do you think is sticking once all our this is for everyone too. Who do you think is going to stay from all these guys that have come up to replace, I don't know, Auston Matthews, Max Domi, Max Pacioretty, David Kampf, Ryan Reeves, Matthew Nice. Let's talk about first Nikita Gerbakin. Let's talk about Nikita Gerbakin.
Absolutely, I think he'll be here. I think he will be. I think they got to keep Nylander up here because he can't go down. He's not going to clear waivers with the way he's playing right now.
Who did they replace?
Oh, that's a very good question. I mean, overall, it's going to come down to whether or not the Leafs actually pull a trade out of their hat, which is, as of late, there's been a few coming out of Calgary in regards to a former Maple Leaf and another player coming back here. And apparently Calgary's looking at 3 players going back their way that they're looking for right now. 2 forwards and a goaltender is what I'm hearing so far.
So that
might open up a little bit of space.
Are we talking Nick Robertson, Fraser Minton, and Dennis Hildeby?
Well, they're not getting rid of Minton. Minton's not even on there. Apparently it's Robertson, Holmberg, and Hildeby is what Calgary's looking at right now in a 2025 third-round pick. Coming back this way is a good old Ontario boy there.
Yeah,
Mr. Kadri coming back this way with Hayton as well, coming back this way, and fourth round pick, I think it is.
How does that work with his $7 million contract? Would Calgary have to eat some of that contract, George?
I guess they would. They're spending a lot of money on keeping players in. So I'm thinking that they would have to keep some of that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, let's get back to the rookies for a second, JT. Your favorite rookie moment during this 8-game stretch?
Minton. That that tap in goal fed by Willie. Like, I don't know. That was pretty. That was just so pretty. And his reaction to it, the way his face lit up, just everything about that moment for him, to me, was a classic rookie moment. So,
Yeah, you're right. It brought hairs standing up on my arms, which I'm sure it did to everyone on this panel and the guys who aren't on this panel tonight as well, Greener and Phil. And by the way, Greener, get better. We're all praying for you over here on the panel. George, yeah, thank you. George, your thoughts on Alex Nylander? Now, they become the 45th brothers that have actually played in the NHL, in the 5th in Toronto. So how do you think William Nylander felt watching his brother out there?
Well, it was a big thing when the Leafs brought him into their organization. So that put a lot of smiles on people's faces. So then him getting to play on the same line with his brother, I mean, that had to put their chest up and their heads held high, just to be able to play on the same line. And I'm sure it did a lot for them when they were playing, because being on the same line, I mean, that's gotta be good, a good feeling. So I think Alex Nylander will be able to keep him around, and hopefully we can keep him up here.
Well, you know what? Here's a point to that, what you just said. Thanks for bringing that up. Nylander is now signed, so that means he has to clear waivers to go back down. I do not see Alex Nylander clearing waivers. So to that point, I believe Nylander plays the rest of the year in Toronto. If we want to keep him, I believe he stays. That's my thoughts, and I hope he really does, because I think it's a real good feel-good story. And he kind of has flashes of William when you watch him out there. Sometimes you don't notice a difference. Like Mitch Marner said, it was like looking in a mirror of Nylander. He's like, oh, which one's that? All right. So he had to look for his number because they were making the same moves. So it's really a heartfelt situation. That picture of him, I'm sure you've all seen William Nylander and Alex Nylander in that hug during the juniors 7-8 years ago. And he says, I look forward to the day, I dream for the day that I get to play on the same team with my best friend. And yesterday was that day. So that's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
When they did the interview last night, Ken, with both of them, they were side by side. The father took the picture of the two of them standing together as a moment to show exactly what. No, he couldn't smile.
The two guys in front of them sure did, but they look like he was part of his family.
After the game, they did the interview with the two of them standing one on side of the reporter, and the dad took the picture with them as a true moment to show 7 years and look where you come and look where you are now. I think it was absolutely phenomenal, honestly.
Well, do you credit that to the coaching staff itself, Craig Berube? Last year, Sheldon Keefe didn't play guys in their hometown. Simone Benoit in Montreal, 50 of his people in the stands. He got sat by Sheldon Keefe. Would Sheldon Keefe have played Alex Nylander on the same line? Can you not credit the bonding to Craig Berube, his style?
I think a lot of it is Craig Berube, and I think a lot of it is coming up from the minor system. I mean, you look at the third line we had there was the top line for the Marlies a week ago.
Yep.
How do you go from the top line of the Marlies to being down 7 forwards on the Leafs? All three of them get the call up. You got you got Alex Nylander up here. I think Berube is a different style coach, and I think he understands the ability of being in your hometown. Whether Alex calls Toronto his hometown or not, you pretty much guarantee he's not far off. But honestly, I think it shows something when you let that player play in their hometown, whether it is, like you said, Benoit, or it is whoever the player is in their hometown playing. You got 50 family members there that you paid for tickets for. You don't want them sitting there while you're sitting up in the press box smiling at them. Sorry, that's kind of offensive to everybody, I know, but I don't think that's right. I think the coach should let you get out there, let you do your lap, let your family see what's going on, and then get to the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I appreciate what Craig Berube is doing here. Okay, let's set up our next game, our next two games. We're taking our Florida trip, but thank God to George's acknowledgement the last time on here on the panel, we play the most tied with Carolina back-to-backs, and thank God this is not a back-to-back Florida Tampa Bay. We have a few days in between, which has actually been beautiful for our injuries and allowing our guys to get healthy when there's not 4 or 5 games in a week. So let's talk about first the defending Stanley Cup champion, Florida Panthers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. JT, we're going to start with you and just set us up with what you expect to see from the Toronto Maple Leafs lineup come Wednesday night.
I think you're going to see Berube style hockey. I think you're going to see a different version of our Leafs from last year. You're seeing them more this year. We, like you said, we're out hitting. We are bigger, faster, stronger, meaner, and more direct in our game. We are a different monster, and I think the Florida Panthers are kind of realizing that, and they know what they're going to get hit with. I'm not even going to talk about Tampa. Like, I don't think that's even a concern, but Florida Panthers is going to be the measuring stick, considering how short we are on guys and how I think we're going to grind them down, and we're going to out hit them, and we are going to outshoot them, and we are going to outplay them. That's just my call.
Final score.
3-1 Leafs.
Thank you. George, the same question, but I'm going to ask you, who's the starting goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, I'm going to say Stolarz. I'm going to say Stolarz is going to get to go. And I think Florida's going to think that they can come out and beat us up again. Well, they don't know that we're ready for them this year, and we got a Berube style of hockey, and I think he's gonna put the word in our guys' ear that it's time to go out and fight and beat these teams and show them what we really got. So I'm saying a 3-2 win.
Thank you. And you're exactly right. That East-West hockey is really taken in to the Leafs, but they always said it's going to take this amount of games, as we did from the start of the year, for them to learn that system, because it's not an easy system to learn when you've been going east to west for 8 years. Excuse me, sorry. Gord, you get the final say here on the Maple Leafs lineup, your goaltender for the night, and what you want to see moving forward. Does Auston Matthews play that game?
Auston Matthews will be playing in the game. I don't know if he'll be on the top line, depending on how he feels. He may slot in the second center slot, but in terms of that, yeah, I can see him in the game, no problem. Stolarz is getting the start for sure. That's going to be a revenge game for him to kind of say to Florida, guess what? You guys didn't really want me. You didn't really want to keep me. Look who did, and look where we are. And I'm going to say probably 4-3 Toronto win. And it's going to be exactly like JT said. It's going to be Craig Berube hockey. They're not going to come in here or us go down there and then run over us like a tractor trailer anymore. These guys are playing hard. They're hitting. They're blocking shots, like ridiculous amounts of shots. And it's not just Tanev, like a lot of people thought. I think it's everybody. And I think them playing as one unit is really showing Berube. It might have taken us 10, 15 games for them to sort everything out and get rid of the Sheldon Keefe way of looking at things. But now that they've come together as a unit, I mean, look at us. We won 3 in a row. We lost 1. Now we won 4 in a row. We win, against Florida. That's 5 in a row. Gives us a 5-point lead in the standings. I think that's what Berube's speech is going to be. Let's just go in there and play our hockey. Stop worrying about the distractions coming out of Florida. don't care about them. Go in and play hockey. Let them play Toronto Maple Leaf hockey and show them what it's like.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100% on that. So last thing, I'm just going to give a thumbs up, thumbs down on who do you think is back in the lineup? Is Max Domi back in the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Thumbs up, guys. Down. Yeah, possibly. Matthew Nice. Anyone hearing Matthew Nice back in?
He won't be back.
Okay. Who else is there? We know Ryan Reeves isn't back yet. Thumbs down on that one. David Kampf, is he ready to go?
He's a possibility, but he's close.
Yeah. So do you guys think that all these players might be back, say, against Tampa Bay?
No. I think if they're going to be back, it'll be when they come back home. I think they're going to give them the time while they're in Florida to rest, relax, and kind of kick back. And
last question for you. Just because we got some extra time here. Wow, I'm not used to this. Okay, guys. The player that you most want to see traded, and please make it realistic. Who do you want to see coming in from another team? I'm assuming let's stay with centers. Let's just center our attention on centers because I believe that's what's going to happen. Is there a center out there that you want to see come, JT?
I love that Malkin idea. I really do. There's a lot of stuff going on in Pittsburgh right now, even with Sid the Kid. You can just see the just I don't know. He's not a happy guy coming off the ice at the end of a game. He looks beat up and done, and I think Malkin's feeling the same way. Going the other way, I don't even know where you go with it. I don't want to see Minton gone. I hate to see something like Cowan. But you do what you do. And do we send Matt Murray back to his starting grounds, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things that could happen, but I think as centers go, I would love to see that guy. I would really like to see it.
Thank you, George.
No, I'm going to go with JT. Then Malkin he's a big guy, and he would help our team a lot. So I'm going with JT there. And it's a toss up of who would go the other way. Murray can see you later, but
well, with our goaltending the way they're playing, it would take a bit for Murray to see NHL. It would have to be a long term for him to come up. But that's all.
But I have to add, if Matt Murray stays on that roster when we win the cup, not if we win the cup this year, but when we win the cup, it comes to Thunder Bay.
That's true. He'll definitely get a ring. Gord, you're the last one on this one. Is it Nazem Kadri that you're looking at?
I am looking at Kadri. Malkin is another one, but I think a perfect example as to what JT was talking about with Sid the Kid there. When Sidney Crosby is fighting, in a game, your number one superstar should not be jumping the gloves like that. I understand he's frustrated big time, but I could see them, Malkin or Kadri, going the other way. I think if you have to, you're looking at Kempf, Holmberg. I can't see them getting rid of Minton or Easton Cowan going either way. Honestly, I think that's what they're going to hold on to for dear life. Mm-hmm. In terms of goalies, you kind of have, again, Matt Murray or Hildeby are really your only two that they're going to let go. I cannot see them letting go of the new guy, of the
he's
young
a new
kid
toy,
down there.
Right? He's a new toy.
So
the new toy.
I mean,
he's a shiny new toy. Right. Okay. Thank you, Gord. I just want to add, boys. Easton Cowan, thanks for bringing up his name. I think you all brought up his name here at one point. Easton Cowan is going for the record to tie Doug Gilmour for 55 straight games with at least 1 point. Although
he will get
during one season, and Cowan is doing it over two. Not bad for considering where we drafted him. So
yeah.
And he will get it for sure. They're going to get it for him just to prove a point.
Yeah, someone's going to do something, right? All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Then we'll be off until our New Year's wrap up. We'll come back on December 29th. Hopefully, all your wives will allow that. Or I'll be here by myself, one or the other. Okay, guys. JT from Thunder Bay, George out there in Calgary, and Gord in the heart of downtown Toronto. I'm Ken from Ken's Corner, right here in Stouffville. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. It's been a blast.
Go Leafs, go!
Go Leafs, go!